Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to my second episode of my Healing Journey podcast. I filmed my first episode yesterday. I'll be posting it soon. I hope you like it. And yeah, next day I'm filming my next episode, which is a very good sign. I've already edited yesterday's one, and I've already come up with like 7 ideas for new videos and stuff that hopefully I can help you with and that you resonate with. So, yes, today it's a very hot day in Barcelona, and I just want to check in because I've just been feeling very low today. I've got really low energy. I'm just feeling so tired. And when I feel tired, I end up feeling anxious and stressed. Like everything becomes a bit more overwhelming. So, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about my must-haves for a healthy relationship. Now, if you listened to my first episode, you know that these must-haves I made when I was with my therapist in I think it was my second session of therapy. And she very much guided me through these points because I didn't know what a healthy relationship was. So let me show you what these points are. If you saw the first episode, you already know. We have respect, effort, positive, validating, emotional depth, vulnerability, empathetic, safety, accountability, self-reflection. Adventurous was my own little one. And I don't know if I've missed any. I am looking at from behind, but we're going to go into all of them because when I set up these like foundations for a healthy relationship and what I needed from a relationship, I actually didn't know what some of these were. I had the wrong idea of what they were. And now, like, I haven't looked at that piece of paper in a while, but I'm able to feel when those things aren't in a relationship. Like, I can feel the anxiety in my chest, and I'm like, I have to get the fuck out of here because this isn't safe for me. But what I want to do is, if you haven't been through that experience of therapy where you're able to feel when those things aren't in the relationship, I looked up like breaking each thing down. So then there's a somewhat definition of it and why it's beneficial in the relationship and what happens when these things aren't in the relationship and how that affects you. First of all, I want to say that these things that I'm naming aren't things that are nice to have in a relationship. They are very important to have in a relationship, even if it's normal for you not to have them in your relationships. And that's because when we don't have them, your nervous system, so things that regulate your anxiety, your sense of self, and your self-worth, they all are damaged by not having these things. And this will explain that because I didn't understand that when I first saw this either. So, first of all, we have respect. Now, I had a very wrong, I don't think I even knew what respect was. Now, respect is respect for your boundaries, for your opinions, for your experiences, for your feelings, because without those things, you don't have an equal relationship with them. They're allowed to not have the same opinion, that's fine, and they don't have to agree with them, but they have to accept that that is your opinion, unless it's something absolutely fucking horrific. But someone has to accept that that is your opinion and someone else has another opinion, or that is your boundary and someone else has a different boundary, because otherwise the relationship isn't equal. You're not the same person, so you're not going to think and feel the same. And I learned that without them, you feel small, invisible, and like you have to earn the right to exist and to be loved. And if it's chronic disrespect, this leads to self-doubt, shame, and anxiety in relationships. So that's number 1, respect. Okay, number 2 is effort. And I think I missed this out when I said it. So effort is love in action. It's how people show that they love you through their actions. And that's consistency, communication, and showing up even when it's not convenient. So when it's not easy. I struggle with this. I don't struggle in the sense that when the other person is going through a bad time, I struggle to be there for them. But when I'm going through a bad time, I can't put in the effort that I like usually do when I'm my full self. But that's because I do feel like in a lot of my relationships, I'm the one putting in the effort usually. And when the other person again doesn't have that effort, everything is on your shoulders, you feel unworthy too much and like you're begging for the bare minimum. Some people will also make it feel like it is your responsibility to put in the effort, especially if you're a woman, for some reason, because we're naturally more caring and everything. Men are just like, you have to like put in the effort here. You have to keep up the communication and the consistency, even when they're not putting it in themselves. And they may actually emphasize it to you to make it feel like you're not putting in the effort, even though if you looked at their effort, yeah, it's not even the fucking bare minimum. So watch out for that one, because effort is super important. And I feel like it can be used against you in relationships quite a lot, especially in my case. That's for sure. That's for sure. Number 3, validation. So important. There is someone in your life that you want validation from, whether it's your partner, your friend, your parents. Your parents. And when you don't get that validation, it makes you question your sense of reality. It's how we regulate our emotions and it's how we feel seen. If you tell someone something and they don't validate that feeling, you're not going to feel seen. Someone's not validating your feelings. Your feelings are always valid. So it's the most important thing. And if you're surrounded by people that don't validate your feelings, you might even gaslight yourself before anyone gets the chance to, because you just naturally had that built into you. And what I've learnt, it makes healing impossible. You cannot be around people who invalidate your feelings if you're healing, because if you're not allowed to feel what you're feeling, then how are you going to heal? In order to heal, you have to feel and accept those feelings, accept the depression, accept the sadness, accept the anger, accept the pain, so then you can accept all the love, light, and happiness at the end of it. Whew. Now, positivity. I feel like I am going to do a whole video on positivity fairly soon, because I had before therapy what we like to call toxic positivity, and that is a whole other thing. But positivity in the relationship with your friends, your family, whatever, is super, super important, because it keeps the joy and the lightheartedness in a relationship. Like if you've been in a relationship or you have a parent or a friend that just constantly fucking moans, it's draining your energy whether you realize it or not. Over time, it's just so draining. It makes the love feel like work. And just like if they're just coming in and just moaning, it's just like get over it. And especially if they're not doing anything about it, it's like what's this for? You're depleting my energy because someone's taken over your energy. Like you're just spreading the toxicity. Why not twist it around, make something positive about it and make yourself feel better? Tell me about it and maybe I'll learn something from it. I don't know. At the moment, I do feel like I'm struggling with positivity in my friendships. That's because I just do have a lot going on and I just need to let it out. So if you're going through a depressive episode and you genuinely have a lot going on, fine. I'm not expecting you to be positive. Coming on to that, vulnerability. You can't have real intimacy without vulnerability. You need to be able to be seen for who you truly are and how you truly feel. And if you don't have that, then the relationship just stays very surface level, because you just keep everything positive on a positive level, and you don't feel like you actually have anyone to talk to, even though you might be in a relationship and it feels lovely. If you can't express your darkness and your sadness and your anger, but in a way where they're comforting you and that you feel seen and validated, you're likely going to feel lonely even when you're around them. And this isn't the same as moaning. This is intimacy. This isn't being like, oh, I was stuck in traffic for 2 hours today. This is being like, look, I've been feeling like our relationship isn't really going anywhere, and I don't feel like I can talk to you openly about things. And we have a conversation about it. That's vulnerability. And if they're not open about it, go to therapy or fuck them off. Because otherwise, you're just going to feel lonely in a relationship where you're apparently loved. Not going to work. Not going to work. Now, the next one's emotional depth. And when I was writing this out, I was like, what the fuck is the difference between vulnerability and emotional depth? And I didn't actually look it up, but I thought about it, and yeah, I feel like vulnerability is more like when you share your feelings and experiences with someone, and it can be a bit heavy, and then they just kind of embrace you with that. That's vulnerability. Where I feel like emotional depth is just showing someone who you really are, or your messiness and your complicatedness, and how you see the world and your dreams and your desires. It's just showing someone completely all of you, and that's where the passion comes from. Because if you show someone every single part of you and all your desires and dreams and everything, and they connect with that, or they really resonate with that, or they really appreciate that, that's where a passion comes from in a relationship. And we all want passion. I want passion. Yeah, emotional depth is passion. It's a real connection. It enables you to be your actual self. Otherwise, the relationship can feel performative, almost fake. You feel misunderstood, and you might even feel a little bit bored around them. If you can't have a conversation with someone when you get deep into your feelings and they're not reciprocating that, it is boring. It's like, nah, I got like chit chat. Fuck fucking chit chat. I am not about chit chat. Oh, how was your week? Me. Oh, it's Barcelona, all right. Oh, have you made any friends? I want to know your dreams. I want to know your deepest, darkest secrets. Tell me about your childhood trauma. I am that person. This is what my therapist said to me. She was like, Ellie, you're just an all or nothing girl. You want all parts of everyone. And if you can't have all the parts, all the messiness and all the beauty, you don't want it. And I was like, yeah, yeah. Because I want to be able to share those parts of myself with someone too. And I know that I'm very messy. But messy doesn't mean you're any less beautiful. Usually the most complicated things are very beautiful. Yeah, yeah. But saying that, you can't have vulnerability and you can't have emotional depth without safety. Now, this is something when I saw it on this piece of paper, I thought of physical safety. Emotional safety, I'd never really thought about. I'd never really even considered. It's being able to be vulnerable and having that emotional depth and not feeling scared that they're going to belittle you or use that against you. And if you are able to have that kind of safe relationship with someone, it means your body is put at rest, your mind is put at rest. Otherwise, you feel like if you are your true self, you're going to be punished for it. So it's like your body is constantly on edge and thinking about what you have to say and what you can't say and overthinking things when you did say them. This like literally a story of my life, and I feel like this will resonate with a lot of people. And when you're doing that for so long, you lose touch with your intuition, with your gut feeling. You don't listen to it. And if you listen to my first episode around me going to therapy, and I spoke about my ex-boyfriend, the text message that came through, and I knew that message was coming and I knew that situation was arising. I had a massive gut feeling, a massive intuition, and I completely ignored it. And that's because I hadn't had any space in my life to be vulnerable and show emotional depth. So I wasn't able to just be my real self and follow what I was feeling. Yeah. And I was just constantly fucking overthinking and thinking, no, my like that's just wrong, my feeling's wrong. And I was just quiet yourself down. Find yourself a space and some people that listen to your feelings. And I promise you that intuition, you're just going to follow it. You're going to follow it like it's the flow of the universe, because it is. Like your intuition, your gut feeling is your second brain, and it's your brain telling you something from when you were building your subconscious. It's like mind body connection. So if you're in a relationship and you feel anxious, stomach issues was my thing. Like I really should have known when you don't feel safe in a relationship because you aren't able to express your feelings and be yourself, your body is going to tell you. Your body is going to tell you. Number, I've got absolutely no idea. I'm going to say 7, maybe 8. Empathy. Empathy. I'm constantly fucking searching for some empathy. I've realised we live in a world with a serious lack of empathy because people don't know what empathy is. Like, genuinely. People think that respect is empathy because if you respect someone's decisions and their feelings and their experiences and their boundaries, people think that that's empathy. No. Empathy is someone coming to you with their experience and all those things, and you feeling it with them, sitting in their sadness, sitting in their happiness, sitting in their frustration, and just feeling the experience with them and not trying to fix it. And this is something that since coming to Barcelona, I've struggled to find people with empathy because I have been depressed. And a lot of people, when they hear the word depressed, depressed, and especially in Spain, I feel like serious mental health issues, they don't speak about it as much. They're very good with showing their emotions, and they are a lot more emotionally expressive, which I love because that's what I need in my life. But when it comes to I'm depressed, they try and fix it. They try and make you happy. Like, take this pill. It's like, nah, bro. Like, I'm just fucking depressed. Like, just let me sit in this depressive episode for a second. And usually when you are depressed, it's your body telling you that you need need to change something. Same with anxiety. It's a shift. So that's why I feel like the method of fixing it when someone else feels bad or feels happy, it's quite toxic because it's your body trying to tell you something. So finding people who are able to sit in the sadness with you, and that's again something that I feel like I do struggle with. And when I'm in a situation where a person is depressed, I'm getting better at sitting in the depressive like feelings with them, but I do have a natural tendency to fix things. I'm a bit of a carer and a comforter. Struggle to do it for myself, but I very much want to do it for other people. So yeah, it's something that I very much struggle to find, and I have found people that do that with me now, and it's something that I'm learning to do myself. So when someone comes to me and they're sad, I'm like, okay, bro, we're going to sit in this sadness with you. I'm able to do it a lot better with kids. That's probably my inner child coming out and being like, look, just comfort this fucking kid. Yeah, maybe that's how I'll think about it. See, we're learning together. Maybe I'll just think next time I'm with an adult, okay, think of them as a child, and maybe that will help me just sit in the sadness with them. Maybe that will help you too, because we all still have an inner child. We all need an inner child. Who the fuck wants to be just a grown up? It's fucking gross. And without it, you feel alone in your pain. God, yeah. You feel so alone in your pain. And if you feel sad, it makes it so much worse because you feel misunderstood and you don't feel like you can like share with anyone because it's not safe to. Like, they're just going to tell you what you need to feel better and why you shouldn't be feeling like that. And then after a certain amount of time, you just don't talk to anyone about it because they don't get it. um yeah, yeah, that's really just made me think that, like, saying those things out loud, I'm like, don't know, it's triggered something in my brain. But I'm doing this for the moment, so let's finish this. Number 9 is self-reflection. Self-reflection is so important in relationships because without self-reflection, a relationship does not grow. A person does not grow. So if you go to them with a problem and be like, hey, I don't really like it when you're doing this. It makes me feel like this. Then they'll be like, shut the fuck up. If they're not able to reflect on their behavior and use empathy to see how it's affecting you, they're most likely going to deflect or feel attacked and get defensive. And then the relationship just doesn't go anywhere and you feel like it's a you problem. And then you stay stuck in a relationship where you're not feeling fulfilled, and then you're most likely going to feel a lot of anxiety because something's just not right, but you can't fix it. It's like you're constantly trying to get a relationship to work, but the other person is just like, I'm good. This is perfectly fine for me. And sometimes it can really annoy me because people are able to self-reflect and be like, yeah, I have this, but then they don't do anything about it. That's probably worse, to be honest, because it's like someone saying, yes, I know my energy is taken from your energy, but I don't care enough to do about it. Because like so everyone has their faults. Yes, everyone has their faults, but it's up to you to actually do something about it. Like if you don't understand that your faults are affecting my well-being, then I'm off. I am off. Conversations just go nowhere. Problems just go fucking nowhere. And last of all, it's accountability, which is the same thing. So if you're able to go, not the same thing, but self-reflection then comes with accountability. So if you come to someone with a problem, they're able to self-reflect and be like, oh, I do that, and then admit it and be like, okay, I see what you're saying. Let's try and fix that. Let's try and fucking fix it. You need this because otherwise the brokenness in the relationship does not lead to repair. It just stays broken. So then you struggle with your trust because you're not able to openly speak about things with someone and work on it. You end up blaming yourself. And then over time, you feel crazy for needing basic respect. Literally basic fucking respect. Like if you can't tell someone how you feel about them and how they're hurting you and work forward with it, the relationship is dead. It is a lot. And I feel like because I'm in such anxious, stressed mindset today, it's made me a little bit angry because it's made me realize, God, how many relationships I have where these things weren't apparent. And when I'm talking about these things, when I'm saying relationships with other people, this is also the relationship you should have with yourself. So you need to make sure that you have respect for yourself. I did not have self-respect before I went to therapy. I did not have respect for my boundaries, my opinions. I had a respect for my needs. I did not have respect for my feelings. I didn't even know what my feelings were, not gonna lie. Effort, I put in a lot of effort in my relationships, and I've realized that in a lot of them, that effort was not reciprocated back. And that's where at the moment I'm finding a balance. And that's easier to do in my new relationship. So that's why I'm focusing on them, because it's like I'm starting afresh. And then once I have like a solid base with that, I can be like, look, this is what I want. This is what I need. If you can't give me this, then yeah, this relationship, it's not working. It's just not fucking working. Validation. Yeah, I didn't give myself validation for my feelings at all. When I felt anxious, someone said something, it was in a podcast actually. Someone said, when you feel anxious, it's most likely that you completely have the right to feel anxious. Like whatever you have anxiety about, it's probably there for a reason. So try and not get anxious about the anxiety. And that is exactly what I used to do when I had anxiety. I'd be like, oh my fucking God, I've got anxiety. And then I'd be stressed about it, and it just make things 100 times worse. When I was depressed, I'd be like, oh my God, I'm depressed. And then it make the depression 10 times worse. Like, just sit in your feelings. Just sit in your feelings and be like, look, today I'm feeling stressed. I'm just feeling tired. I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. And that's okay. That's fine. It's just one of those days. And you work around that, you work with that. You learn to. I haven't quite got there yet either, but one day I will. I'll let you know what I get up to when I do get there. Positivity, as I said, I was toxic positivity. I'll get onto that another day. Vulnerable, I wasn't vulnerable. No, I was not vulnerable. Not really. I was vulnerable with some good friends, but only about specific topics in my life. There were still things that I literally hadn't told anyone. And when you're vulnerable with people, this is another thing that I'd like to talk about. You only need to make sure you're vulnerable with the right people that are able to be vulnerable with you back. That vulnerability needs to be reciprocated. You're not after a therapist, you're after a friend, you're after connection. You're not after attachment, you're after connection. Emotional depth. I had emotional depth with mainly my friends, not with my family. Yeah, that's where my emotional depth was seriously lacking. And that's how it reciprocated into my romantic relationships. I had absolutely no emotional depth in my romantic relationship. Yeah. Safety, emotional and psychological safety, that wasn't not, yeah, I don't even know what that was. So I was just constantly anxious because I never felt safe with my emotions and myself and sharing them with others. God, as I speak about this, it gets worse and worse and worse. Did I have empathy for myself? Probably not. No, I probably didn't, to be honest. Yeah, I wasn't able to like take myself out of my situation and look at my life and be like, Ellie, what do you actually feel? And what do you want to do with that? And where do you want to go with that? I didn't do that. I'm saying this like I haven't thought about these things before, so this is very much my initial thoughts. Self reflection. I had a lot of self reflection, almost too much self reflection, but the issue was I didn't do enough with it. I was stuck for a very long time. What I needed was to go to therapy, talk to my therapist about my self reflection, and her to be like, yeah, that's right. I'll be like, what about this? What do you think about this? And then from there, I was not only able to self reflect, but I was also actually able to work on it and work through it and understand what I wanted through that. Because, yeah, otherwise you're just stuck. Accountability. The fact that I'm pausing probably means that I didn't. Interesting. How can you have accountability with yourself? I guess you can have accountability. Okay, I've just thought about this. Accountability, I feel like, in my sense, was accountability for my healing. I knew I had issues. I knew I had trauma. And I knew my family wasn't the healthiest. And just because you're able to recognize that, it's your responsibility. You are accountable to be like, okay, I'm going to fix this. I'm actually going to fucking fix this. So, no, I wasn't accountable before I went to therapy. When I started therapy, that's when I started being accountable. Yeah, that's my initial thought process. And as I said, as I'm like reflecting on my own unhealthy and a healthy relationship that I have with myself, a person doesn't need to have all of these. They should have, like, when I look at them, because I looked at it the other day and I was relating it to my friends now, and they have pretty much all of them. Like some of them are a bit, but that's fine. And the important thing is that they're able to actually recognize that themselves and they are working on it. And that's what I love about my friends now, is that when I have a problem or they have a problem, like we're able to say, look at this, and like maybe you should do this, and they're like, oh fuck, right, yeah, like you're right. This episode was so much longer than I thought it was going to be, and I have got really pumped up. I feel like I'm getting angry for you. I know, like, you've listened to this for a reason, okay? I know there is something in your life, someone in your life that doesn't have, maybe it's you, maybe it is you, and that's fine. You can be angry at yourself for not having those things, but what anger is telling you is that you need to do something about it. There needs to be change, there needs to be boundaries set in place. Okay, so if you're watching this and you feel angry, you feel upset, cool, that's absolutely fine. Sit in those feelings, validate those feelings, and go do something about them. Go do something about them, because if you don't do something about them, your mind and your body will suffer. You will constantly be in fight or flight mode. You will have constant anxiety just built into you. You will overgive to people. You will over apologize to people, and you yourself will just emotionally fucking shut down. You end up losing your sense of self completely because you're constantly just trying to get relationships to work and like stay on the same page. Like, if it doesn't work, just get out of there. And then you just believe that you're too much. You're too hard to love. You're not enough. Unhealthy relationships are more damaging than anything. More damaging than, I was going to say more damaging than alcohol and drugs and addictions and stuff like that. But the likelihood that it's your relationship making you feel like that and causing you to do those things is actually very likely. So before you do anything, before you, I don't know, start going to the gym a lot to help with your mental health, maybe you're going to change a career, maybe you're going to change apartments, maybe you're just looking at lots of different things to try and make yourself feel better for your anxiety. Maybe you just need to look at your relationships, because those relationships are where your sense of self comes from and where your nervous system is regulated. And if your nervous system is dysregulated, you're not going to feel good. You're not going to feel good about yourself or about the world. And I'm still getting there myself, but like, I'm able to recognize that now, and that's why I'm bringing you along with me. Okay, we need to start loving ourselves, loving our relationships, and loving the world, because we are so blessed to be here. We are so blessed to be here. And if you're sitting here and you're thinking, Ellie, this is just unrealistic, look at your fucking existence. Look at your existence on this planet. Your existence right now, the fact that you're sat here listening to me, watching me, thinking consciously and probably subconsciously too, is a fucking miracle. Stop saying that things are unrealistic. Nothing is unrealistic. You've got this. I believe in you, okay? I fucking believe in you. When I do these videos as well, because I watched the one that I made yesterday, and it's so comforting for myself, because I never really had anyone for myself to do this. So me watching myself say these things, I'm like, the fuck? Who is this girl? And then once you start building these relationships with people, love becomes medicine. It becomes light, and it's not heavy. It doesn't feel like work, and it's not draining, and you're not worrying about it. The worry goes, you just feel safe, you feel understood, and that's the way love should be. You should be thriving in love, not surviving in love. And I think I'd like to end with that. I wasn't really expecting to do this episode today. I had a different idea, but then I was like, oh, I showed this, and I actually would like to break it down for me and for everyone else. And I feel like it has really helped me. It is a lot of information, so I'm not going to overthink it too much. I'm just going to digest how I feel around it. And it has given me quite a bit of sadness, because I didn't have a lot of those things in my relationship before, and I can really see how they were affecting me. And that just made me sad for myself. And I'm going to sit in that sadness because I now have empathy for myself. Yeah. Yeah. Hope you like this episode. Please, again, give me any feedback that you have. If there's anything else you want to learn, I'll write down toxic positivity. That will be my next episode. I'm going to do it on toxic positivity, because I was literally fucking the face of toxic positivity. And I hope you enjoy that, because I do feel like we live in a very big society of stay positive and like, don't worry, be happy. You can fucking worry if you want to. Like, I love Bob Marley, but Bob, sometimes I just need to feel sad. Sometimes I just need to worry. That's just life. Yeah. Please follow, subscribe, comment, and have a lovely day. Have a lovely night. Have a lovely sit in with your feelings. Love ya.